Hi, welcome to my short presentation about WebQuest, the basics and the benefits. To talk about WebQuest, first we need to acknowledge the contribution that project-based learning contributes to WebQuest. The basics of project-based learning are that it's student-centered, it's collaborative work, problem solving is involved in the activity, critical thinking is highlighted, and it often solves real-world problems. Now, looking at the basics of WebQuest, it's all of the above, of the project-based learning basics, but it also includes that it's solving problems, it's using technology as a tool, and it's using 21st century skills and building on them for our students. The benefits of using WebQuest and project-based learning is that it empowers our students in their learning. They get to make choices. They are empowered with how they're going to present their information they've learned. It's easy to make connections to our community and to get a lot of involvement from other students and parents and community members. And most importantly, it increases the connections across the curriculum for students. WebQuests are inquiry-based. They use technology to research and create presentations. They can be designed for students to work independently, but they're usually designed to work collaboratively. They easily support all areas of the curriculum, and they have the ability to differentiate content resources to meet all of our learners' skills and challenges. So how do they work? First, there's an initial question or task the students need to answer or solve. The resources are all contained in the WebQuest, which is usually a website built for the purpose. And then the final presentation, the students show and illustrate their new knowledge. It's important to note that for WebQuest, the technology is used as a tool throughout the whole process. It's very active. There's lots of hands-on active use of technology. And I want to also note that WebQuest can be easily used across all grade levels as young as preschool. It's easy to design them where you're also incorporating hands-on activities for the younger students. So the basic framework of a WebQuest is that there's an introduction, giving a little bit of background or building a little excitement for the activity. There's a task, which is usually a question or some problem they've got to solve. And really, to make it a high quality WebQuest, it's fun to really make that relevant to your learners. It can be something in your school, it can be something in the classroom, it can be something in the community that they need to learn about or a problem to be solved. In your WebQuest, you curate all the resources. So this is where the differentiation comes in, because you have the ability to find other websites. You have the ability to find ebooks and audiobooks and videos, and use all kinds of great resources that have assistive technology built in. So this will really help out all your learners. You include the process of how they are going to do this activity. So you have step 1, step 2, step 3, so they are able to easily follow through what they're supposed to do to complete this activity. You also have an evaluation. So you embed or include something that's like a rubric. So it's easily identifiable what they need to do to complete this activity and go to good grade. It's also important, I think, in the process portion of it to include job roles, especially maybe for the younger grades. So when they're getting in their collaborative groups, they understand that each person needs to have a job, and in those jobs you can have it spelled out what the duties are, so they all understand what they're supposed to do. And then finally you have the conclusion, which is often some kind of online presentation. It can be a slideshow, it could be an audio or a video that they created, it could be a little ebook. There's some great projects out there that the students have combined audio, video, and text, and you can do that in like a VoiceThread or also a Glogster. And this is the fun part where you can share it with other classes within your school on your website, and even parents, so they can get involved in the whole process. So looking at student engagement versus traditional and WebQuest, and when I say traditional, I mean basic textbooks and worksheets. When you're looking at a traditional route for curriculum, It's often just individual. It's just one student working by themselves. It's often kind of restrictive. There's not a lot of differentiation for students with learning differences or learning challenges. It's often rote memorization. They're not making a lot of connections to other areas. They're just memorizing the facts that they need to know to pass. It's also passive. Like I said, they're not making connections across the curriculum and to things in their lives or the community. And quite often it's kind of boring, and that's kind of sad. We want our students to be excited and to be engaged. When you look at WebQuest, most of the time it's collaborative. They're learning how to work with others, and that's a really important 21st century skill. You are able to differentiate your curriculum, your content, and also their presentation. So you're meeting everyone's needs. It also highlights critical thinking. They're having to make those connections and take it a step level higher and scaffold their own learning. It's very active. They're involved in the whole process. They're not just memorizing facts. They're actively building their own learning. It's a very transformative and exciting activity and process for the students. So, classroom management concerns for WebQuest. You have to have access to internet. You really need to have a smart board. You have to have a class set of devices. This can be a challenge for some schools, but those are some of the basic needs that you need. You really need to make collaborative groups with individual job responsibilities. So all the students are responsible for a portion of their group effort. Also, you need to look at student personalities and work abilities when you're doing this. For some students in some classrooms, this could be really difficult on the behavioral aspect of it all. And you need to differentiate material. You can't just give all text for your students. You need to make it engaging and also make it a variety of material so they are able to really cover comprehensive what the content is, and it just makes it more interesting. When you look at 21st centuries, this is a good framework from P21. If you look at the top, it's got learning and innovation skills, the 4 C's: critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity. Well, WebQuests meet all of those. They highlight critical thinking. You're giving them a task or a question or a job that they've got to solve. And it's not just basic information. They've got to use their critical thinking skills and the problem solving skills. Communication, when they're working in group, they've got to have the ability to work with others and also be able in their final presentation to communicate what their result was. Collaboration with their group members. You have to learn how to work with other personalities. That's a huge skill that is important in current society, but is only going to get more so. So these kids need to learn how to work together. And finally, creativity. And that comes into the final presentation, how they're showing and demonstrating their learning. On the left-hand side, the red, you've got life and career skills. And then on the purple, on the right side, the purple side, you've got information, media, and technology skills. And all of these are met with WebQuests. So WebQuests, I feel, are really an opportunity as teachers to provide a dynamic, engaging learning activity for our students, all the while still meeting our curriculum standards in our framework, but just doing it in a very innovative way that the students are going to be given the opportunity to really make real connections, scaffold their learning, and have fun while they're doing it. So thank you for watching my presentation, and that is it.